Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are here with a new style of video. We're going to speak on games in 2024 and just games in general, and why games are flopping, and why us as a community, as the gaming community, are just being duped into spending money on shit ass games that are just poorly developed and poorly received overall, and why we're not being listened to. Look, if you're new or a returning viewer, hit the like, hit the sub, let me know in the comments if you've come across any of this information, if you've seen any other videos that go along these lines, and let me know how you're currently getting on. A couple of these games that I'm going to bring out and talk about is games that I kind of, had wanted to invest my time in, but after doing some discovery on them before they released, I just thought, no. Some of these games are just games that I just wasn't interested at all, but just had a massive flop. But the big thing about this is that these developers and these studios and these publishers really just don't value the player's time. The player time is the most valuable thing you can bring to a game. The more time you invest in the game shows those publishers and studios that the game is a success, and that the fact that this game is worth the time to play, and they want to invest in this game and keep it going. Unfortunately, we've been getting lackluster games that are half done and half baked and brought out and being fixed on the fly and telling us that these are top quality games and they're going to revolutionize the gaming industry. And that's a poor thing to have, because games right now, they're just not that good, especially when it comes to live service. And then we got all this positive toxicity around games, puff pieces being going out to boost the game, but realistically, at the heart, the game is not complete. And we're going to speak on a couple of those games, and a lot of these times, content creators and these kind of media outlets, they do it because they don't want to lose their privileges. First game we're going to speak about is Concord, a game nobody wanted, but we all got. This game released at $40 or euros for pre-order from PlayStation. This game is an absolute flop because it was just full of wokeness and a game just nobody really wanted, and it didn't resonate with anybody. I'm sure you've seen this information before, but the game was so bad that PlayStation actually refunded all the money. This game also had a closed beta for pre-orders and pre-purchases, and it had 1,200 concurrent players. When it was open to the public, it had less than that because nobody wanted the game. And the prime example is because you're not listening to the community and what the players want. If you take Helldivers compared to Concord, it's a game that people just didn't know they needed, but got it. No massive marketing behind it, no fancy cutscenes, no development team talking about it saying it's going to revolutionize anything. It was fun, it didn't take itself too serious, and people just enjoyed it and wound down and just got away from the crazy loop that was, gaming for a while, and just had some fun. Yeah, it might not be at the same numbers that it had, but it was a success. It made a lot of money. Another game is Star Wars Outlaws, a game that just is bad. It's already had outdated versions on the PlayStation 5. There's also talk about, saying that Ubisoft are going to do more. They're going to have to kick us out the door, that there's new changes coming to Star Wars Outlaws that will make it better. There's also people talking about it saying it's, it lacks basic accessibility features and hurts the gameplay. Now, to be honest, there is good feedback in some parts of this game, but unfortunately, I feel like Ubisoft once again missed the boat. The fan base for Star Wars is male dominated. Now, there are female fans of Star Wars, I'm not saying there's not, but unfortunately, it's male dominated. You go to a Comic-Con, you go anywhere, it's all going to be male dominated. And they didn't even take the time to look at that. And it just made the game a shit show. And unfortunately, it's not that great, and it's tanking because people just no, Ubisoft don't care about them. They don't care about what they want. They care about their investors. They care about revenue and their bottom line. And right now, Ubisoft's stock is tanking because why? They took the players for granted. Unfortunately, you weren't listening to your player base and what they wanted. And you're suffering the repercussions of that. And that's just plain and simple. You can't bleed us of money, and we're not going to constantly just kind of look back and go, hey, you fucked me over so many times. I'm not going to let it happen again. Another game, Skull and Bones, a game that was dubbed a quadruple A game. A game that went through an identity crisis. A game that was promised to us to say that it was going to be like Black Flag, you're going to be a pirate, you're going to be able to loot, but you're just stuck in a ship. A game that the studio's CEO stood by to say it was a quadruple A game and over 100 million was put in it. It had poor support, it had poor content, and it was a game that was pushed to kind of bleed us of our money and just take money off us through microtransactions, and it's just bad overall. You get a cutscene where your crew jump onto the island and plunder the island while you gotta sit there and watch it all happen. In what way is that a pirate game? It's just not. Black Flag is a better pirate game than Skull and Bones would ever be. Why? Because it was a game that people enjoyed, but unfortunately they can't monetize that game. They can't push you to spend more and more money after paying a top of the line price tag just to have the game. The game was plagued with issues, and this is what these type of studios, these type of publishers are doing right now. And it's the same across most multiplayer games. Now, there has been glimmers of hope across the year. There's been a lot of successful games. But unfortunately, we won't know that because we're constantly being given these puff pieces and these content creators saying the game is good and giving Concord a 7 out of 10 when the game is absolutely dog shit. And unfortunately, we fall for the trap every single time because we don't value our time or our own opinions. And it must be good if IGN is talking about it. So this is where we're at. Another game that really pissed me off was Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I'm a big Rocksteady fan. I've played the Arkham series thoroughly, really enjoyed it. The story behind the Bat family and Batman as a whole, the darkness, the combat, the hand-to-hand combat, it was amazing. But then you got this. They all knew it was going wrong. No, we all knew it was going to be wrong after a while because unfortunately you went to a live service model that relied more so on, looter shooter model and away from your core aspect. The founders left because they knew the game was going in a bad direction and the studio overall was going in a bad direction, and it wasn't what they deemed to be a level of standard that they wanted to bring. Why? Because they wanted to have a live service game that they can micro transaction us out the fucking asshole. That's what they wanted to do. But the game was subpar, it was repetitive, it was copy and pasted. They had comic book strip style kind of cutscenes, lackluster kind of content within the game as well. They had like Mrs. Freeze. Could you not have just brought Killer Frost into the game? Jesus. And it's just mental to see these studios and Rocksteady have their name tarnished because, the publisher wanted to bleed the current player base of money. Because, if we say Rocksteady made it, we've made so many great games that we can do a lackluster game and we can get them to spend a lot of money on it. This game has gone through turmoil. And it's unfortunate because once again, we're underappreciated, we're undervalued, and we're just a dollar sign to these corporations. That's all we are. But they're wrong. We are the number one thing that allows other players to say, hey, this is a good game. Word of mouth, Helldivers is a prime example of it. Word of mouth, that is the most powerful thing you can get. If your friend told you, hey, I'm playing this game, it's so cool, it's amazing, I think you would love it, you should give it a go, you'd probably go buy it and play it. And unfortunately, there's no strength behind any of this marketing stuff that these studios push out. Now you're seeing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on the screen. I'm talking about more so Call of Duty, not Black Ops 6, it's only in its beta phase. But here's the big thing for me. The backlash after taking down the remastered mod of Modern Warfare 2. And this shows another example of not listening to your community. When 99.9% of your community is saying this is something we want, and then you turn around as a studio, as a publisher and go, nope, this will only harm our new game that's coming out because we have a microtransactional store that'll make you spend a lot of money and skill-based matchmaking that will keep you engaged for longer so you spend more money, and we can't collaborate with Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg and WWE to make you spend more and more money, and your game that was $80 or euros is now $280 or euros by the end of the year. And you know what? Once that year is over, we're going to redo it over and over again. It's unfortunate because Call of Duty is a game that I played since I was 15 years of age. It got me into online gaming, and to see something like this happen over and over again, it's shit. So I don't buy anything in Call of Duty. I don't buy anything in the stores. I don't do any of that shit because it's not worth it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my money because I'm understanding of where we're at in this kind of rigmarole. We're not valued as a player. We're not. Our time is not valued. Our money is no value. But I want to move on, and I want to give some insight to Rockstar. Rockstar basically banned a group of modders in GTA 5 in 2015. What did they do? They hired them. Why? Because, you know, if we can't beat you, join us. We're going to take you on board. We're going to take all the good stuff that our players like, and we're going to let you implement that into our game. And that's all you needed to do. Really, it's all you needed to do. Activision could have done the exact same thing. And more people wanted to play GTA. More people invested more time. More people invested more money into GTA. This game is standing the test of time, and Red Dead 2 as well. Because, why? People enjoyed it. They didn't go against it. They didn't go and go, hey, that's not what we want. We want you to do this. It's like, no, the players love it. Come over and do it over here. We'll legitimize you. We'll give you a base to do it all. And that's how you go forward in gaming, listening to the player base. And unfortunately, there has been good games. BlackMyth Wukong, God of War, Space Marine 2 is getting great reviews. Why are these games successful? Spider-Man 2, why Elden Ring's DLC, why? They're not chasing any more money than is necessary for the game. They wanted to give the player base an experience. They wanted to give them characters that are interesting. They wanted to pique your interest and go, hey, we want to see more of this. And they're creating something. It's something that is lost in multiplayer games and games now on live service. Look at Warframe. Warframe have stand the test of time because why? It's a great game and people want to invest money in it because they enjoy it. But guys, look, that's kind of where I stand. As you all know, I talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And right now, this is the ugly side of gaming. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this. Have you read other information on it? And how you think gaming is going overall? I'll catch you on the next one.